defending, I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
Just like Ian Wright said there, people deluded. I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Hope you lot enjoyed your weekend. Hope last week was great for you lot, and I hope this week is even better. And I hope you lot and your loved ones have great health and where your goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations. All the best of luck to you. Please do me a favor, have some comments in mind when this video premieres. Either comment it, in the live comment section or comment after. I'm sure you've got a lot of thoughts. Now, Monday morning, worst possible news on the eve of playing Manchester City. I would say worst possible news. Everybody knew Saliba's season is probably finished. Saliba's season is increasingly likely to be over. Apparently, he will not be fit for City and he will not be fit for Chelsea, people. I mean, if you could somehow fit Newcastle away in there, why not? We're going to get into it in a second, but I mean, we knew it. I would say when you read what Mikel Arteta says about injuries, especially the long-term ones, Tomiyasu, El Nene, etc., it works a certain way. He's very coy, keeps his cards close to his chest. He doesn't give nothing away. He's firmly learnt from Arsene Wenger in that regard. And I think last week's press conference on the eve of Southampton, he was very much direct about Saliba's chances. Again, if Saliba has to miss part of this season, but he's good to go for next year, it is what it is. Again, there was rumours he had to have surgery. He might as well have it now. Let's put this behind us. It's come at the worst possible time. I don't know for his physical condition if he played against City, but I'm sure a lot of people would have loved the 50% Saliba. Now, injuries are almost unpredictable, but injuries are a thing. Again, it would be ideal to have a right-sided centre-back that could step in Saliba's place, and if not better than Saliba, just make sure there's not a drop-off there. The luxury of playing Benjamin White there or Tomiyasu there is irrelevant because Tomiyasu's season's almost done. All I would say for Arsenal, make sure that we have a right-back and a right-sided centre-back of suitable quality for next season, because we've seen this theme. As great as the season's been, regardless of how it finishes, last season, we had to rely on squad players for far too long. We're going to have to get on with it, innit? Simple as that. Same way we dealt with the injury to Jesus with Eddie Nketiah. I know it's not quite the same, Jesus and Eddie, there's a smaller gap than Holding versus Saliba, etc., etc. But we're going to have to get on with it. And if I'm honest, in our last 3 draws, regardless of what you might think about Rob Holding, he probably has not been the worst player on the pitch. Obviously, there's weak points in his game, and we've had enough to win those games. So we're going to have to stand up to be counted. Hopefully, Rob Holding can really become Fabio Cannavaro in that regards. But yeah, David Ornstein has confirmed the worst news, people, and also there's news on Ainsley Maitland-Niles and vaguely Mason Mount. Now, by the time this comes out, I will go live at some point to speak with you lot, but I thought it was important to get a video out. Nonetheless, David Ornstein's offered his Monday column. Ornstein fears Saliba's season is over. Chelsea Mount talks with Berhe. Arsenal face Manchester City at the Etihad on Wednesday in a potentially defining match for the Premier League title race. 3 straight draws have seen the North London sides lose momentum, with their 5-point lead over City mitigated by the reigning champions benefiting from 2 games in hand, in which if they win both, hopefully not, they would move 6 points. Well, they would gain 6 points and move a point above us. Arsenal were rocked by an injury to William Saliba in the first half of their Europa League last 16 second leg against Sporting Lisbon in March, and his absence has coincided with their struggles of 100% defensively and offensively. It's a shame because we're not in the latter stages of the Europa League. We saw the semi-finals of the FA Cup. It's a shame we're not there. Hopefully we can bring the big one home if we are really fighting for that. Mikel Arteta's side were knocked out that night on penalties, and despite then seeing off Crystal Palace and Leeds, have since been held by Liverpool, West Ham and Southampton. In 5 fixtures without Saliba, Arsenal have won 9 points from a potential 15 and conceded 9 goals, indicating the growing importance of the 22-year-old French international to his club. It feels like he's been here forever, and I know technically he has, but in terms of being a genuine first-team player for Arsenal, he hasn't. And to be honest with you, 9 points from a potential 15, it's not the worst without Saliba, if I'm honest with you. And I think we have kind of coped with it. And I think, you know, to just sit there and blame Saliba being injured for not having certain points or picking up certain points, I think it's a cop-out. Yes, there are things he would have done better than Rob Holding. Yes, there's a knock-on effect on everybody's ball-playing ability, the positions we take up, actually us dropping a lot lower as a football club. And there has been concerns in Holding's game, but, you know, relative to his ability, I think he's done all right. We know Holding is not good enough for a team that wants to be, as much as I like the guy, aspiring for big things and challenging for big things, but he doesn't pick himself. He didn't assemble the squad himself. I don't doubt that he's going out there with the best of expectation, and my expectations for Holding are near enough on the floor, but I think he's done okay. You know, yes, there's, you know, not really got much on the ball, dragged out wide. There's a concern. Sometimes I think he's slow to engage. Not really able to be as brave in possession as a whole team with him in the team, but injuries can strike at any moment, really. And, you know, as an Arsenal fan, I've always said we should be positively pessimistic. We should be positive. Everybody's going to stay fit. Everybody can step in if required, but expect injuries, because we've seen this a number of seasons and we saw it last year. And as much as I praise Mikel Arteta for how he's assembled this squad in terms of the emerging depth, some of the signings, well, most of the new signings he's brought in really and truly, in the last couple of years, he has to face the music, really, you know, for not having enough quality centre backs. Really, you can't stand in the rain and complain you're wet, as I always say. While Arteta gave a concerning update last week on William Saliba's recovery from a back problem, there were suggestions the centre back could still be past fit ahead of the enormous trip to City. We're travelling up there either today, tomorrow, so we had to have known. However, assessments have failed to show sufficient progress, and the defender, who has so far been replaced by Rob Holding, will not be available to face Pep Guardiola's team. Arsenal then welcomed Chelsea to the Emirates Stadium on the 2nd of May, but the expectation is Saliba will also miss that contest amid fears his campaign might be over. Such a scenario is not confirmed, and the matter continues to be closely monitored as Arsenal try to reintegrate him for a critical month for the season. Yeah, but we all know Arsenal's mouthpiece is The Athletic, so unless the journalists have done a superb job, maybe they've been able to play on their Arsenal contacts and kind of get this. Now, Arsenal do keep their cards close to the chest, and until it's confirmed, we'll keep hoping for the best. But, you know, if he is genuinely injured, you might as well let him have that surgery now. The quicker he's back, the better. And hopefully Edu can get his checkbook out and bring in a right-sided centre-back and other defensive reinforcements. The remaining time and complicated nature of Saliba's injury placed heightened doubt over his involvement, which would be a major blow considering the pivotal role he plays in Arteta's system. Saliba was ever present in the top flight before his setback. Across his 27 appearances, Arsenal conceded an average of 0.9 goals per game compared to 1.8 without him. Their 77.8 win rate has sharply reduced to 40%, and 2.4 points per game has turned into 1.8. Moving away from that, Mason Mount is still in talks with Chelsea over his future. He's been linked with a whole host of Premier League clubs, including Arsenal. As it says here, people, it has become widely expected the England international, 24 years of age, will leave amid serious interest from suitors including Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, and former Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel following his appointment at Bayern Munich. And despite that and multiple contract offers being rejected, the regard in which Mount is held by his employers is not diminished. And on Friday, a direct conversation took place between co-owner Todd Burley and the player, where his importance and desire to keep him was reiterated. So he could, he could stay at Chelsea. He could join another Premier League team. We'll have to watch that space. The dialogue has been interpreted inside Chelsea as a positive development, with what looked like a foregone conclusion, and Mount leaving shifting to a feeling that it's not out of the question he stays. It's not everything is up for debate. So I have to see. Shout out to Newcastle for annihilating Tottenham Hotspur 6-1. We'll have to see how that develops. Scrolling all the way down, Ainsley Maitland-Niles has also apparently confirmed he's going to leave Arsenal. Maitland-Niles set to leave Arsenal. Ainsley Maitland-Niles will move on from Arsenal this summer after the club decided against triggering an option in his contract for a further year. I mean, Arsenal, he's 25 years of age. We let him money go out the door, man. We could have renewed his deal and let him depart in the summer, really. But maybe we've said, you know what? We've already got a lot of incomings and probably departures and squad changing we've got to do. We've obviously, this is one that we'd rather not deal with, considering that we rejected 20-odd million pound bids from Wolves and Everton. When I say recently, I mean recently in a few years ago since. It's a shame. But yeah, he's, and it's a shame because he's kind of turned his form around at Southampton. Since the turn of the year, he's been good. He obviously couldn't play against us in the last game. Apparently, we won't be triggering that. Although Ainsley Maitland-Niles says he has not spoken to anyone at Arsenal since last pre-season, the decision to part ways was mutually agreed months ago. That says it all, that says it all. I can't imagine, despite the fact that at one point he had a revival under Mikel Arteta. If he hasn't spoken to anyone since last pre-season, out of sight, out of mind, that respectfully, that tells you the club don't really care for you, be in a footballing sense. Humanly, yes, but that tells you the club don't care. You imagine if you're Balogun, you could complete different, but there's probably been consistent communicational channels from Arsenal, not necessarily Edu or Mikel Arteta, probably on occasion, but Ben Napier, etc., etc. And it's a shame, Ainsley can leave with his head held high. He's come from the academy. He's won an FA Cup. He's played a significant amount of times for Arsenal Football Club. He's cut out a Premier League career for himself. It's a success of Hale, and it's just a shame that no money's been made. Obviously, in the couple of loans he's been on, we've picked up some loan fees and things like that, but you get the point. It means the 25-year-old who joined Arsenal's academy age 6 will be a free agent when his contract expires on June the 30th, people. He's currently on loan at Southampton, where he has made 23 appearances in all comps. Southampton did have the option to buy at the end of the season, but with Arsenal deciding to let him explore free agency, the contract is void, which is a bit mad. And to be fair, I know it's not FIFA, but if they've got an option to sign him, and assuming Southampton stay up, which is in the balance, could it, in an ideal world, couldn't you take out this option in his contract? And then if you try to get someone like Lavia, that knocks a few quid off. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has never been shy from talking about his Arsenal future, whether it's Instagram or interviews. Apparently, he has told The Athletic, it's been a great journey, but it has come to an end now at Arsenal. It's time for a fresh start and to find a new home, which I understand. He's one of these players that are half at the club, half not at the club. He stays for 6 months, goes out on loan. He's not a young man anymore. He's 25, so he needs stability. And also, mashallah, actually, he's actually, he's got a young child now, a son, I believe. So, yeah, he needs to, settle down roots and instill stability within his life. And I hope Ainsley, on a football pitch, I hope Ainsley Maitland-Niles finds a club that he's able to do that with, because he's still a Hale boy. Hopefully he doesn't come back to harm us, people. He said, and start to find a new home. I'm looking forward to that, but at the same time, my head's not quite there yet. And it's all about what's happening now with Southampton, which is true. They're fighting relegation. I'm just fully focused on trying to help us stay up and stay positive on a day-to-day basis and win games. When the time gets closer towards the end of the season, not that we're very close to it, I'll have something else to think about. But right now, I'm just focused on football and the task at hand. Southampton is a great club to be at and progress and get some minutes under my belt. Of course, if they make an offer, I'll be more than happy to stay. So yeah, that'll be good for him to get some stability. But from a selfish business point of view, if we was to see him and Reece Nelson leave for free, on top of probably having to take a hit in, with the Pepes and Cedrics and things, it's not really good for the club. So he's 25, really, Arsene Wenger says you need to be the finished product at 23. He's 25. He's a Premier League player. He's played a number of times in the Premier League and for Premier League side. So he should have stability. But the thing with Ainsley, we still don't know. Are you a right back? Are you a left back? Are you a centre mid? Are you a centre mid able to play fullback? Are you a fullback able to play centre mid? And I think he's shown his versatility, but I think it is right for him to depart from Arsenal and change that story now from Ainsley and Arsenal. And a divorce, sometimes it's for the best, sometimes to become the best person you can be, for you might have to leave your wife or husband, really, and you might find a new one that's better for you. So we'll have to see. But in relation to Saliba, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Mason Mount, that's all that the article had to say. Please make sure you smash the like button, you comment, you subscribe, you turn on your notifications, because I will be live to do an Arsenal live stream, and my fan show is coming. If even what, I'm still waiting on replies. Even if one person's there, I think Gooner Lee's replied, so we'll still be there. Tomorrow is my Wamba watch-alongs on Wednesday. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Most importantly, appreciative for you lot listening to me offer my thoughts. Please make sure you smash the like button, you're commenting, you're subscribing, and you're having a great start to the week, man. It's Monday. It's only going to get better. I don't know about Wednesday, but yeah. On that note, and it's difficult to say bye, but I'm going to have to. People, DG, I'm out.
So it's always just that active and defending.
I've been given